Well, hey, good evening, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to Effective Living Monday Night Conversations. And I am so excited to be here with you another Monday. Remember, every first Monday, you see my lovely face on this actual platform. And look, let me just tell you, before I even begin, I just want to continue to say thank you to our coach Ricardo Miller, who allows us to be able to come onto this platform, have some very robust conversations and dialogue, not only with our guests, but also with him on the Monday night conversations. Because why? It's all about effective living, life management. It's all about living your life on your own terms. Nothing missing, nothing lacking, nothing broken. It's about taking a journey where we are empowering each other on how to live this life where we don't need to take a vacation from. I know that the t-shirts normally say we're creating a life, but I'm adding and modifying because we heard this before that we are living a life where we don't need to take a vacation from. And just by that fact alone, I'm so excited. Just in case we have some new people watching us on tonight, my name is Coach Della Major, and I am your host for this evening on this platform. I always refer to myself as Effective Living Chicago. Because why? We're located right here in Chicago, Illinois, on this wonderful windy city night. It's summertime. It's a great night, and it's a good night to have this dialogue and this conversation. So we want you to be able to share. We want you to click on subscribe. We also want you just to go to Coach Ricardo's platform, which is www.ricardomiller.com. Look, we have so many events, so many activities, and so many things that goes on in this circle alone that you don't want to miss it. Every Monday through Friday at 6:30 a.m. in the morning, he is online giving us in our special group coaching session some powerful insight, some powerful nuggets. Look, we always believe if you're talking about living your life effectively, there is a person that's been assigned to you that has been designed to help you, to thrust you, to catapult you into your next level. And I am just so excited about this platform and actually being here on this night with my special guest. OMG, you guys, I have a woman that is not only dynamite, I call her Miss Dynamo. Look, she is Miss Markia Janae, and look, she is unapologetically her. I'm going to have her to come on, and I want her to be able to share a little bit nuggets with you before we get into our conversation tonight, because I am telling you, you don't want to miss this conversation. So we want you to not only click on that notification button, click on like, click on the share, click on subscribe, because I'm telling you, these Monday night conversation is just too rich. It's so saucy that you got to just tell somebody. I see we got Miss Marilyn Haywood on. I want to welcome to tonight's show. But in the meantime, let me get on with what we're going to be discussing. Markia, Coach Markia, why don't you share a little bit about yourself so the people get to know who we're going to be talking with tonight?
Well, first and foremost, thank you so much for having me, Coach Della. I'm so excited to be here. It's a blessing to be on this platform, and I thank you for always opening up your doors to me. I am Coach Markia Janae. I go by I am Markia Janae. I am an identity and confidence coach. So I help individuals tap into their identity, build their self-esteem, and unlock their voice. So many of us have been stifled because of words that have been spoken over our lives. We feel like we no longer have a voice. We don't know how to utilize that voice. Our confidence is broken and shattered. And I help you to restore your confidence and restore your voice by tapping into your true identity of who God created you to be.
Come
So
on.
I'm just so excited to be here to join the conversation and to deep dive because I know it's going to be lit because you always bring the fire. So I'm super excited. So thank you.
You know what? You actually is starting us off already because remember, our conversation tonight, as you guys already know, Coach Ricardo, he write Monday night on Mondays, he write blogs. And so our conversation is based off the information from his blogs. And so let me just say this. If you have not again gone to his website and check out the blog information, you're missing on some good firehouse content. We want you not only to go to www.ricardomiller.com, but we want you to take a look, read the blogs, but not just read them. Put a comment in it. Share your thoughts pertaining to that because I'm telling you, it is going to be rich. So, tonight's dialogue is one of my favorite subjects, but at the same time, you talked about being that identity coach. So I know we're about to get into some deep dive on tonight's topic, which is that's just me. How many times have you heard people just say, hey, that's who I am. That's just me. You know what? This is my makeup. This is who I'm called to be. But that is just me. And so the first thing that I'm listening and as I'm hearing, even with the topic, first thing came to my mind was identity. And you just said you're an identity coach. Why don't you give us, coach, just your brief definition of when we talk about the word identity?
Identity is really how you define yourself, how you see yourself, and it can play out on even how you live your life. So many times our identity can be impacted by by nature or nurture, by the community that we surround ourselves with. But identity is really who you were created to be, the purpose that has been designed and outlined for you, and if you're walking in that. With identity, you will unlock your authentic self, meaning you will go back to, I like to call it the manual of how you were created by
Mm-hmm.
our Heavenly Father. So there's a manual that He's created, that He's put a code inside of each one of us. And when we tap into that, we're able to live our most authentic life and live our life to the fullest of how He created us to be. And when you know who you are, you'll know where you're going and you'll know how to get there. Not to say there won't be bumps along the way,
Good.
that there won't be hurdles,
Yeah.
but when you know who you are, when you know,
Come
like
on.
I say, I am Arkia Janae, I know who I am. When I can say that, I know that I can go along this life journey. Yes, I'm going to have some falls. There's going to be some pits, but there's going to be a lot of victories. And you'll be able to celebrate it knowing that you are putting your best foot forward because you're being who you truly called to be.
You know what? When we talk about identity, and I love that brief definition, like you said, well, how you defining yourself, how you are labeling, how you saying who you want to be identified as. And I know that when we mention about our Heavenly Father, there's something about Psalms 139, and that's a scripture that talks about that we were beautifully and wonderfully made. But what I also love about in that particular chapter is verse 15, where it says, everything that has been identified, who I am, is already written into the book. And so that which is going to be is already done. And what I was talking and sharing in one of my classes and imparting to some of the students is look, everything that you said that you are and that God has designed for you to be, it's already done. You can't take nothing away from it. You can't add nothing to it. That means everything, every journey that you went through was to help you to define who you are and then help you to be able to go where you need to go. One of the good things, an interesting concept and points that Coach wrote in his blog, where he says it is critically important that we are careful in regards to what we repeatedly say about ourselves. Here come these words.
Yeah.
It says, our words have power. When we think about the power of the spoken word, how so true that words have powers. Words can either help you or it can either hurt you. Words can define you in such a way, not only just your words, but the words that are spoken by other people that can really take and create such an identity that you was not even never was intended to be. I want to jump in on a couple of things, on a couple of statements that he said. such as, I've been this way my entire life. When you hear a phrase and a statement like that, what is the words that come to your mind?
You're stuck. You haven't changed. There has been no growth. If you've been this way your entire life, that means you're doing the same thing over and over, whether it's good or bad, and you're stagnant. You're not
What does the
looking to
word
grow.
insanity say?
Doing the same doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So when people say I've been this way all my life, I say why?
That's it.
Why?
Why? You said something earlier, just a few seconds ago. You said you stuck.
Mhm.
Stuck means there's no growth. And when we think about there's no growth, when you saying that's just me, that's just who I am, there's an exclamation at that end. And at the end of just saying that's just me, that means, are you saying you're not subject to change? Since you are an identity coach and you deal with and you working with individuals all the time, when you hear your clients saying that's just me, or I just been this way all my life, or everybody knows that's not me, that's just not me, that's just who the way I am. What do you say to those individuals?
Again, I say why, and then I said how long do you want to stay this way?
Ooh.
Because if you're looking for change, if you're looking for growth, if you're looking to become a better person instead of a situation that you're currently in, you cannot stay the same. You have to develop, you have to grow, you have to surround yourself around like minded people, you have to start reading books, you have to start preparing and setting yourself up for something different. In order to get something different, you got to do something different. So I asked the question, why and how long are you going to stay this way?
You know what? I love that. I love that. This is something that Coach always talks about. And he asked this question when he had this one webinar. And the question in the statement is, how's that working out for you?
Mm-hmm.
Because when you do ask that question often, and you ask the question, when you keep doing the same thing, not only not expecting a different result, but if it's not bearing no fruit, how's that working out for you?
Yeah.
How is it that to the point that you staying not only stuck, but then the fact of it all is becoming to be a distraction?
Mm-hmm.
If something that what it is if it's not producing no value, no fruit, question comes back, like you said, why? How's that working out for you? And when you talk about that's just me, we talk about the power of words. We talked about how the power of words get you stuck.
Mm-hmm.
But what about the power of words that can harm you? How you can speak your own death just by what you say.
Yeah. I've heard this phrase before, words create worlds.
Ooh.
So what you speak, the words that you use will create the world that you live in. Your words will determine your reality. And that mentality will also determine your reality. So when we're talking about speaking life and speaking death, we choose what comes out of our mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you remember, and I know we've all heard it, but when we were children, when someone would pick on us or we would get into a fight, we would hear, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words
Yes.
will never hurt me.
Yes.
That was a lie.
That was a lie.
That was a lie that's been told to us, that words will not hurt, because there's power in the words. They leave an impression on us. One thing about words, they replay in your mind. When someone speaks over you, it replays. When they speak negative or talk about you, or even when you talk about yourself, you're speaking from a point of what someone else has said about you, because you had to get it from somewhere.
Come
We
on.
just don't naturally come out talking about ourselves in a negative way. It's a seed that has been planted, and it's a root that's now anchored in the ground that we have to begin to dig up and excavate. So I think about it all the times when I was a kid, and I'm like, oh, words don't hurt, but they did. They kind of altered the course that I would be on
And
throughout
that's it.
life.
You know what? I like what you just said. You used the word, you said seed. It is a seed that is being planted when you are speaking and when you are allowing not only what you say, but what other people's and how they define you. Now, I know you was just going through the concept of when you thought about what people said from before, or even how it formulated and deceived, are there any things or words that were spoken either in the past or even, hey, let's talk about present,
Mhm.
that you say now, you made it up your mind, I'm not going to say that anymore?
Yes, and I have to say it because of this. I have to say because of the foundation that was laid originally with
Mm.
my household, my family. It's twofold. I came from a household of love, the affirmations and setting that foundation, like you can do anything, you can achieve, right? But the foundation was cracked
Ooh.
based off of encounters that I had with other people. So those encounters with other people begin to chip away at that foundation that my parents had laid for me. And so those words such as "you're not good enough" that came from outsiders, or "you suck," or "you're not worthy," "you're worthless," "you're a failure," "nobody loves you," "why are you even here," "you're not attractive," "you're fat," "you're this," "you're that." Those words that I heard outside begin to create cracks in the foundation
Wow.
that was already initially laid. And so you said, what phrases or words have I heard that I do not use? Well, I am not a mistake. Someone has said that to me. Well, you were just a mistake. No, I'm not a mistake. I may have made a mistake, but that does not make me a mistake. I
Ooh,
may have
that's good.
I may have done some foolish things, but that does not make me a fool. And so you may not see me as worthy, but I know that I'm worthy because I know whose image I was created in. I'm more precious than diamonds and jewels. I am crafted after the creator of the universe. So phrases like that that were meant that people use to try to tear me down, I flip it and reverse it, because you can't allow other people to have that type of power over you, because again, it's going to stifle who you are, who you were called to be, and the voice that you were given to speak and say who you are and who you were supposed to be in this season.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for tonight for joining me here on Effective Living Monday Night Conversation. Already, as you can see, we are talking from this powerful subject, that just me. And as you just heard from Coach Markia, when we were talking about those words that we said, that you have to make the decision, not only not to say it, but you got to make the decision to take back your power, because word can plant seeds. It either can plant seeds of negativity, or it can plant seeds of empowerment. I'm a transformational coach. I'm all about change. I'm all about digging down deep into the root of making transformation from the inside out. And I love how the fact that you gave a little bit of your story of the fact that you grew up in a household of love, positive affirmation, people giving you confirmations. But then when you got on the outside, as you said, those cracks, because if you got cracks in your foundation, that is an opportunity for negative word, toxic relationship, toxicity, and things that should have never been there from the beginning, easy to creep in and try to seal itself as part of the original foundation, but it should have never been. Have you ever seen a foundation solid, but then you see a plant coming up or something that's birthing through it, but it never was the initial intent? That is what happens when we talk about the power of words. And you also said something on how you flip it. When somebody say, yes, you a mistake. Oh no, I might have made a mistake, but I am not a mistake. See, when you understand who you are, that's that identity piece. Then you got the power of affirmation, of affirming some things and making sure that you are sound and that sound doctrine is coming through. It's something that Coach has said in his blog, where he says, here's a few things. He said, no, you can actually do more than you think,
Mm-hmm.
but you tell yourself you can't and believe that then you don't want to do it anymore. But then it's like, when you think about it, you can do it. But he incorporates something. It's not only about the saying and the speaking of the word, but it's about the thinking. It's in the mind. So you see, now there's a connection here. What do you think? A connection between what you think and what you say. Where's that connection that you see, how that's tying up and lining up?
Oh yeah, it goes back to what you hear. So anytime something comes into our mind, our centralization, our hub that produces everything,
Yeah.
it's going through a cycle and it's filtering. And if it can latch on to something, it's going to replay. It's just like if you have a DVR or you're watching something, you put it on repeat. You have that song that you love to play. We all have a song that gets stuck in our head. The same thing is with our words. And so when we hear these words over and over again, or these phrases about how we're not this or that, it does create the limitation because your mind begins to take root of it, and it begins to replay in your head. You are not good enough.
Wow.
You're not going to do it. You are
No.
limited here. But the actuality is, the more we hear it, our mentality begins to determine that as reality. So
It is.
that's just the way it plays. It's like that repeat cycle. It's
Yeah.
just going over and over again in your head, and that becomes your mentality because now that's all you know. That's how you see yourself, because it didn't come from just one person. That person talked to somebody else about you, and so that person that they talked to about you now is coming back to you and saying, "Well, girl, such and such said this about you. What you think about that?" So now you having these conversations playing in your head, and then on top of that, you're making up your own conversations based
Come
off what
on.
you think that they're saying, and so you have this cycle of negativity that might be manifesting, and that cycle is now locked into your mentality, and now you're going to act it out in reality. You may have never had that thought before in your life, but because someone spoke it over you, or because someone else told you what someone else said, now you think that's a part of who you are, and you're feeding
Mm-hmm.
into their toxicity. Because a lot of times, Coach Della, what happens is the people are actually jealous of you. They're envious of
Ooh,
you,
come on.
and they're speaking their insecurities onto you.
That's it.
It took me a long time to realize that a lot of the strife that I would get from other people, it
Yeah.
wasn't me. It was their insecurities, and they were projecting it onto me. And here I am receiving it, thinking, "Oh man, maybe that is true, or maybe that is what I do." No, that's your insecurity. And so when other people speak their insecurities onto you, reject it, send it, return to sender, because that's not who you are.
You know what? I love what you just said, because we often say perception is reality. But in here, we got words being speaking mentally, because that mind game, the Bible even said, we hear this statement all the time, that it says that the mind place is the playground for the devil.
Mm-hmm.
We hear that all the time,
Yep.
right? And
Yep.
so when we think about it, so as you see it, you perceive it, you start beginning to believe it. And then that believing become to a reality. Then you begin to speak it. And then you speak it, then it provokes the action. And then when you act it out, it's manifesting it to be. And so, you know what? We're going to go ahead and do this quick little promo video before we come back. Look, we want you to pay attention, because we got an event coming up, and we definitely don't want you to miss out on it. Again, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us and being here as part of our Effective Living Monday night conversation. I hope that you had the opportunity to check out our information, our promo about our wonderful 5K. Let me just tell you this: effective living is all about the total man. It's not only just the total man, but it's talking about your mind, body, and your spirit. It's built on our 5 principles: our faith, family, finance, fitness, and fun. And at fitness, we're talking about your most healthy self. And so our 5K walk has been something so powerful ever since we've been in session, because it's all about being your most healthiest self. Look, good health talks about good life. And we talk about longevity, and you talking about living your life on your own terms. And so we want to encourage you, if you are in the Dallas land area, to come out to our Effective Living 5K walk. I know I had the opportunity to go and participate, and I'm telling you, not only did we have fun, not only is awesome, but just the conversation, the camaraderie, just with everybody, it was awesome. And so again, it is on Saturday, September the 3rd at Great Trinity Forest Park. And I'm telling you, you don't want to miss out. For more further information, we want you to go to www.ricardomiller.com. As you see here clearly on your page, check out the information, check out the event. Hey, you want to be a participant on it, because fitness is all part about having that firm, living your life on your own terms, living that life where you don't need to take a vacation, but at the same time, you're creating a life where you don't need to take a vacation from. That means you living it to your fullest capacity, nothing missing, nothing lacking, nothing broken, and you living it on your own terms. Markia, I know you already understand it, because look, you're running yourself. And so how important is fitness as part of that, talking about effective living?
Oh, fitness and good health is so important because you have to sustain this body that has been given to you. For me, it's every day I'm doing something to move my body. It could be walking, it could be running, swimming. If you look, if you can't get out, we have chair exercises that you can
Yes.
do. There's so many ways to
Yes.
stay in shape and to get your body into the way that it should be. That there's no excuses. Throw those excuses out the window. Drink water. I keep water with me. Drink your water, eat well, and get your body moving. So that looks like an amazing event. And if my calendar allows it, I might head on out to Dallas.
Girl, look, trust me, you and I, we're going to get together, and that's going to be one of our trips. I'm going to have the opportunity to bring you on and get a chance to meet some of my other team members, as well as our coach, very own coach himself, because trust me, you're going to have a great, wonderful time. But the reason why I even brought that up is, remember, our topic tonight is talking about that's just me. And even sometimes when I sit here and I even think about in our 5 pillars, and I think about fitness, I think about finance, and I think about the fun, and think about our life and our faith. You know what? It's just not as simple as saying that's just me. We got to be able to be not only transformative, but we got to be able to stand on those solid principles. And that means make change what change needs to be made. Now, something earlier today that when we was talking about, especially when you were saying, people might say, oh yeah, you just a mistake. But then we said, no, I'm not a mistake. Mm-hmm. I might have made a mistake, but I'm not the mistake. I love it how he got some things, Coach also mentioned in his blog, is some ideas and some thoughts to consider. Like, for example, he said, you can learn faster than you think you can, but if you think you can't, you probably won't even try.
That's powerful. That is powerful there.
Okay, isn't that powerful?
Yeah.
If you even think you can't, you're like, why even try? Mm-hmm. But you have the ability to do it.
Yeah. And I think part of that is that sometimes we assist the devil. We just be giving it, I used to play basketball, and it's just like you throwing him an alley oop or a layup. And I always say, do not help the devil or the enemy, the adversary, however you refer to him, with negative self-talk, with negative thinking, with limitations. We have a unlimited God who wants to do exceedingly and abundantly for us, but we're so busy with the negative talk that we're giving these assists to the enemy, and we're helping the enemy stop us from doing what we were called to do. So let's start saying and thinking on the things that's what God says about you, because
What
that's
about
where
this statement?
your identity is found.
Yeah, what about this statement? You can dream bigger than you think you can,
Mm-hmm.
but if you think you can't, you ain't gonna try. What about this? You can live boldly than you think you can, but if you think you can't,
You
you
won't.
probably won't try. And when we think about these statements, dreaming bigger,
Mm-hmm.
living bolder,
Mm-hmm.
learning more, when you put this one word that I'm about to say, is called limitation.
Yeah.
When you put limits on yourself, you are hindering yourself from being all who you've been called to be. You're hindering yourself from maximizing your full potential. What you're seeing when you stop at that's just me and that's it, and especially if you just stop, you don't try, then you saying I only could go so far. And you saying that exceedingly and abundantly, you saying God can't do it.
Yeah. It's almost like you're putting shackles on your victory. You're putting shackles on what you're called to do. It's you're enslaving yourself to mediocrity when you really should be living in abundance.
That's it. That's it. When you really should be living in abundance. And sometimes, I know after this post pandemic, and I know so many things that's basically been going on, and there's a lot of people who's even afraid to like step out or even do anything transformative or even change in a sense, because they just figure this is how the way it is. And so because of society says it so, or because your friends and somebody else says it so, they just stop right there. What do you think we can do? How we can empower others to take off those shackles, to stop limiting themselves, but then really reaching out to their full potential.
Mm-hmm. I know one thing is sometimes we can see in others what they don't see in themselves.
Ah, that's good.
And if you don't see it in yourself, then you do put the limitation on yourself because you don't know that you can do it. So one thing that I try to do, and I know that you do this as well, Coach Della, is just encourage that individual. When you
Yeah,
see a strength in someone, you say, hey, you know that you are so capable of doing this. I see this greatness in you. Whatever that thing that you see in that person, affirm it in them. Because
yeah,
sometimes we got to help build up other people in order for
yeah.
them to build up themselves. And so affirm it. And then if it's something that you have an interest in, that you know that they have an interest in as well, keep extending the invitation. They may say no, or I'm scared, or I don't know. But when you extend the invitation, eventually they're going to say, okay, well, I see they're not letting up. Let me just try. So
That's it.
sometimes you need that little bit of a push. You need that little bit of encouragement. Of course, we can't force anyone to do anything, but we can try to encourage them through at least, sticking a stick your pinky toe into the water. Yeah, you may not know how to swim, but just dip your toe and just see how the water feels. So I would say just send them a little bit of encouragement, and if you're able to take a step with them when they do decide to do that activity,
You
do
know
it with
what? Ordinary people, especially somebody who thinks that they are ordinary. Okay. And when we say the word ordinary, we talking thinking it common. That
them.
means truly in the sense that, this is how I always have been. This is what I've always seen, because it just seemed like I've gotten myself into this routine. And because of this routine, it bears what we say, some cases, okay fruit. And I'm saying okay fruit because if something is okay, then you are just okay.
Mm-hmm.
But then at the same time, if something is good, then you say, okay, it is good.
Mm-hmm.
But what about the extraordinary? When you hear the word extraordinary, what comes into your mind when you hear the word extraordinary?
I think greatness. I think when I hear like extraordinary, I think of like you hear the acronym GOAT, the greatest of all time. When you're extraordinary, you are exceeding. You are, going above and beyond. You are killing it. You're doing it. You're not worried about your light shining. You like, you know what? Go ahead. Let's shine some more because you're not gonna stop what I'm doing because I'm over here achieving greater. That confidence is there. You're just like, all right, I'm in my flow. If you want to roll with me, come on. But everybody can't go because I'm extraordinary. So if you're trying to get on this extraordinary ride, you better come on because I'm pulling out the station real fast, quick, and in a hurry. So I always think of like extraordinary. You putting in the work, you doing what you need to do to accomplish your goals. You have the vision. You're not allowing anything to
Right.
deter you from what you were called to be and what you were called to do.
Now, I know that a couple from what I've known, it's probably maybe a year or so ago, but either way how it go, God gave you this thought and gave you this vision. Something that's called now, nah, greater God. Why don't you share with our listening audience? Because we're talking about that's just me. And so if that's just me, God gave you that idea. And I know every time we see you, you have that nah greater. As a matter of fact, you got it on you right now. You say nah greater. Why don't you share with the listening audience that nah greater concept? Because that's really something powerful in where we're talking about that's just me.
Yeah, so it really came to me because I was actually going through. I'm like, Lord, what is this all you have for me? I felt stuck. I was in that like place of okay, well maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe this is not. Maybe this is just all you have. And it was like that still small voice. Nah, greater. I have greater for you. What you think this is just basic right here. I have even more. I have greater. I have greater for you to see, greater for you to do, greater for you to speak, greater for you to tap into. You have not yet
Ooh.
seen what I have in store for you because I have so much greater. So, greater. I have greater for you. And so the reason why the shirt says, no, greater God, because that was God speaking to me. And I
Mm.
believe that he speaks to each and every one of us that there is greater, but we're not always listening and heeding to the instructions, and we're not always obeying when he tells us, okay, in order to get this is what you have to do. I cannot take you to that greater or to that next if you're not listening,
That's
if you're
it.
not communicating,
That's
and if
it.
you're not in obedience to what I'm telling you to do. But now greater was just me being in a place where I felt defeated. And I was asking God, is this it? Is this what my life is going to be? And he's like, no, greater.
Are there any other in the like, I guess my question would be, what impact have other people's words or dialogue with you has made a major shift? Because we just heard about God, but have there been individuals that have came across your life that have spoken something powerful that actually ignited that and made a big impact where you said it before, you might say, no, that's just me. But now I'm like, I'm greater.
Yeah, so Coach Della, I've had both. I had both good and bad.
Mm.
I've had people to speak negative things over me or say negative things to me, but then I had those people to come right behind and say, no, this is what I see in you. And I'm just always so grateful. Like again, like I said at the beginning, of course, of my family, but my mother has always been that person. When I felt that I wasn't good enough, when I made the mistakes, it's just like, okay, babe, you made a mistake, but that's not who you are. And I know what hit me one time. It was a time in my life, and I mean, I was all over the place. I was wild. She said to me, "I don't know who you are."
Ooh.
Now that right there is a stinger. The person who brought you in this world, they say, I don't know who you are. This is not the person that I raised.
Come on.
And that was a light bulb because I didn't know who I was, right? So I'm up here living this life, living on the edge, doing, just out here wilding, partying, doing everything. And for her to say, I don't know you. And she's known me my whole life. That was a wake up call that Markia, you got to do better. So when she said, or if she ever said, I'm disappointed, disappointment is something that will sting, but it causes you to change because it makes you say, okay, well, what did I do or what am I doing that is not what I should be doing? And
Mm.
when you look at it, you have to take the time to take accountability for your actions. And then within that, you can say, okay, this is what I know. This is my foundation. How do I get back to that? And when you get back to the foundation, the beautiful thing, and I know we've been talking about it in worship and at churches, that when you have that foundation, you can rebuild. You can
That's it.
build anew.
That's so
And
good.
and that's what I had to do. So when I felt like, okay, I'm worthless, I'm not good enough. No, you are. You're talented. Why did you stop speaking? You're meant to be a public speaker. My mother
That's so
always
good.
told me that. You're a leader. You are a communicator. You can control the room, the environment. But I allowed other people to take me off that role. So from her saying that, and then people like yourself coming along and speaking into my life, just adding that, what do you call it? Adding that it's I'm losing my train of thought. But adding that continual
Yeah,
affirmation
affirmation.
regarding
Yeah,
things spoken,
yeah, yeah.
you know, it's just helped to catapult me to where I am now and where I know I'm even going. So we never know the
Oh, that's good.
importance of what people speak into our lives
That's good.
and how it can make us better for where we're meant to be.
You know what? I love everything of what we were talking about because, ladies and gentlemen, again, for those who maybe is just joining us and watching us on tonight's Monday night conversation, we're coming from this topic. That's just me, and when we're sharing, and we want you definitely to go to www.mccarlamiller.com, check out the blog, check out the information that's out there. But when we are talking about, just making that statement of living your life and making that statement of effective living, it's really just digging deep into understanding all about who you are, because we know that words of affirmation or words of confirmation, but even those negative words and things that people speaking, it can make and actually form either good or the bad. And when you just shared a few minutes ago, when your mother says, I don't know you, it quickened in my spirit. In the word of God, it always says, talks about the labors, how they say, I prophesied in your name. I served, I helped people, and I did great things in your name. But then God came back and said, depart from me, you workers of iniquity. I know you not. And so even though your mouth might be saying something and you thinking your actions is something totally different, that is really saying something loud. That's like a cymbal blast. When he
Yeah.
said, Coach had put down a couple more, when he says, you can you can fight through fatigue longer than you think you can, but if you think you can't, then you probably won't even try. So when you're thinking about what you say
Mm-hmm.
and what you do, because basically what you think you're going to say, what you say you're going to do, what you do, it produces the manifestation of that action, those habits. If you are not living your life effectively and to the fullest, then all what you're doing is placing distractions and limitations. You're limiting yourself from what you said, maximizing your full potential. You also said something earlier too. Why we keep supporting and really giving the enemy the weapons and the tools to tear us down with. You know
Mm-hmm.
what? I used to tell my students when I was in the classroom, especially when they knew they was about to get in trouble. I'm like, dude, why you always give somebody the bullet to
Yeah.
shoot you with? They might got the gun, but if you giving it a bullet, it can't hurt. But if you out there doing things and you limiting yourself, you're speaking the same negative word. The Bible tells us that the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy.
Mm-hmm.
Destroy our joy, kill our hope, take away, steal any possibilities, opportunities. And if you are co-signing his check by promoting him and not promoting, as Coach said in the blog, I could do all things through Christ.
Yes.
That strengthens me. I am ordained unto a life of fulfillment and fruitfulness and productivity. When you're thinking about those words, those strong words of affirmation, you're not limiting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're not hindering yourself from possibilities. You're saying, nah,
No.
greater God,
Yeah.
even bigger than that. When you hear those words, especially that statement, I can do all things through Christ. What is it that you feel that you can share to even individuals that you might come in connection with?
Mm-hmm.
Ask them.
Um, yeah, so I just always encourage them that this is not all that it is. Like, okay, you feel weak right now, that's good. It's okay to feel weak because you know when you're weak, your strength is made strong in relationship with Christ. You find who you are. You get that extra boost when you're weak. So it's okay. You feel like you can't carry the burden because there's someone that's meant to carry it for you. You know, we're not meant to carry everything
Oh,
ourselves. Some things we just have to turn over and let, again, our Heavenly Father carry it for us because we weren't built to carry it. We weren't meant to
that's it.
carry it.
That's
And
it.
so, all things through Christ, yeah, you can do it, but you don't have to struggle doing it.
That's it.
You can pass that. You can hand it over to someone who wants to help you through it.
That's
You're
it.
not walking through it alone. There's
That's it.
resources and people available that can take you to the next level and where you're trying to be because someone has already gone before you. Someone has already gone through the same
That's it.
trials, tribulations, trauma, everything. You're not the only person
That's
who's
it.
experiencing this. We all are doing life, and
Come
we
on.
all get hit with grenades. You know, it's like we're in a
Come
war
on.
zone sometimes. And so I just like to reassure them that you're not doing it alone. There's resources. There's people that's gonna gird you up. That's gonna pray you through. But then you have the most valuable resource in it all, and that's our Heavenly Father. And you have the Comforter, the Holy Spirit, that'll take you even through it when you feel like you can't handle the storm on your own. So yes, you can do all things through Christ, and know that you're not doing it alone.
You know what? What I love about everything what you're saying, it is not only affirmation, it's confirmation. We already know James chapter 1 tells us count on our joy when we go through trials and tribulations. Why? Because it does produces patience and it produces a perseverance. And one of the things that Coach said in his blog, it says sometimes trying means you're going to get hurt or you might even fail. But even if that is the situation, don't give up. Get right back up. Get right back into the game. Dust yourself off. Take a moment, reflect, and let's go. Let's
Mm-hmm.
re-strategize and put back into the motion what should have been done from the beginning. Sometimes our failures and sometimes our situations don't move forward because we might have moved too fast or we might have gone a little ahead. Not saying that the situation was wrong, but if we get out there too fast, it's easy for us to make hiccups. But what I love about life and what I love about what God says, He came to give us life more abundantly, but it did say, no weapons formed against you shall prosper. He told us to cast everything unto Him. Now, it's easy for us who has the strong faith to believe in the principles of what God says. But I want you, Markia, to speak to those who maybe don't have that connection like we have. What would we say to those individuals out there who said, man, you know what? I made this mistake. This is just how I am. I don't think I could do any better. What would you say to encourage them and to empower them to let them know that's not just you? You can do greater. What would you say?
Yeah, so one, I would let them know it is okay to feel that way. You know, you got to always acknowledge where the people are at. So it's okay to feel that way. But I know that there's greatness in you. And okay, you made a mistake. Hey, Aaliyah said, dust yourself off and try again. So, all right, you feel like you did it wrong. That's okay. You have another opportunity to do it again.
That's
How
it.
would you do it differently? Let's start there. How would you do it differently, and what would you like to see that outcome be? All right. Now that we know what you want to see that outcome be, what steps can we take? What's the first step that we can take to get you to that outcome?
That's it.
That
That's it.
and it's okay. There's no judgment. There's nothing. It's okay because we all make mistakes, whether you're a believer or non-believer. We all make the mistake. But what can you do to not do the same mistake twice?
You know what? I just love this. I love how you broke those 4 points down. I love how you really just made it so simple and so plain. Have your goals, set it the mindset, ask yourself the question, what can I do different? Okay, I made a mistake. I'm back up. Now, where did I go wrong? What can I do different? Then what's my goal? What am I striving for? That is just so good. You know what? This is the month of August. We are now 8 months into the game.
Mm-hmm.
And some people might be at this point in time, it might be somebody watching us tonight that might say, man, this is the month of August. I should have had this done back in February. Now here it is, it's August. 8 months don't pass. Time is just over with. 2022 is almost done. It's almost over. But we are here to tell you it's not over. It's just beginning. One of the good things that we love, and one of the good things that I love, what Coach said in this last line of his blog, he said, trying is your way to win in the moment. It's your way to take a risk on you. Remind yourself every day. Instead of saying, this just me, this how I am, say, I've got this.
I love that. I got
I
this.
got this. Instead of this just me, no. Say, I got this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm better than this. I got this. I'm even greater than this. I'm even more than this.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we saying this? Why we encouraging is because when you just say this is who you are, you're limiting. But when you say I got this, you're saying greater. That means nothing lacking, missing, or broken. There's nothing that can stop you but you. Because it says nothing beats a failure but a what? A try. If you try it, God is willing enough to sit there and help you through it according to his own will. But even if you're not on that strong foundation, it doesn't matter. The question I have for you, how's that working out for you? If it ain't working out good for you, then don't say this is just me. Just say, I've got this. And you can do something even bigger and better. Woo, I'm just so excited. Look, our time is winding down here. Markia, what can I say? I couldn't ask for a better person be on this line with me tonight on this conversation to talk about this. But I want people to connect with you. I want them to know how to connect because I'm telling you, there is somebody that was listening that you made an impact and that your words spoken gave them some aha moments. So if somebody was trying to reach Coach Markia Janae, how would they go about doing that?
Yeah, I want to share that, but I want to say this real quick, Della. So often we feel like, okay, tomorrow, because we're
Yeah.
going
Oh,
through the dark.
yes.
But I want to encourage someone. Tomorrow starts at 12:01.
Come on.
So and you can be going through, and yes, it can be dark, but the morning starts at night. The morning starts while it's dark. So yes, the sun may not be up yet, but come 12:01, that's the
That
next
is. It's
day.
a new day.
That's your new opportunity. So don't worry about what has happened in the past, what happened yesterday or earlier in the day. At 12:01, that's your new start. That's your new
That's
start.
it.
So if you would like to connect with me, again, I am Markia Janae. So on Facebook, if you just type in Markia Janae, just as it appears on the screen, and on Instagram, I will pop right up. My website is www I am MarkiaJanae.com. And then you can always pick up the telephone and give me a call at 773-831-0449. I look forward to hearing from you. Build your confidence, tap into your identity because you are destined for greatness.
You got this. You're destined for greatness. Look, I want to thank you guys for joining us here on tonight, Effective Living Monday Night Conversations, right here on Ricardo Millen platform. Again, if you're interested, look, Coach always say that God has already prepared an individual or someone to sit here to come and help pour into you. Look, even coaches need a coach. Yes, he is my coach. And I'm excited. Why? Because he's helping to shape me, sharpen me, and help me to elevate this to a whole nother level. But I'm telling you, not only from our group platform, but maybe you might be that individual that need a little bit more, maybe some one-on-one. I encourage you to go to www.ricardomiller.com. Not only check out the platform, but the one thing I'm definitely going to encourage you to do is to get the Effective Living book. It is a guide to where you're creating a life where you don't need a vacation from. We always say here on this platform, it's just not a book. It's a tool. It's a resource. I'm telling you, the information that's contained inside, it gives you bit by bit, step by step, a journey on how to live your life effectively. One of the very first chapter is understanding your why you do the things you do, but why you've been called for purpose, destiny, as well as what God has been purposing you for potential and for your reach. I'm telling you, you don't want to miss out. So definitely go again to the website, www.ricardomiller.com, and check it out. But you know, I'm your girl, Coach Della Major. I'm here, like, I just love on you each and every time, every first Monday night, right here on this platform. This is where we have the opportunity to gel together, Effective Living Chicago. Again, if you want to reach out for me, I'm also on Facebook, Coach Della Major. I'm easy to find on IG. I am Della Major. And trust me, you don't want to miss it. It's some good content, good information, and we look forward to seeing you soon. With that being said, thank you for joining me here live tonight on Effective Living Monday Night Conversation. Until next Monday with our next co-host, I look forward to hearing from you soon. God bless and have a good evening.